Welcome to this conversation with Steve Hamm. It was really great to get to know him, hear about his fascinating life, and talk about the joys of performing and acting. Everybody that Eileen connects me with sure has stories to tell and passions, and just like really, I notice everybody that I connect with has such big hearts. It just really wants to see the world be a better place.
Well, yeah, that's true. I can definitely relate to that. I think sometimes that my kind-heartedness can be a fault at times as well. Um, Not saying I'm naive, but it's just that some things I've seen, I have a different outlook, I guess, on the world and people and stuff. So um, with that aspect of it, it just puts me in a different mindset of everything. So.
So you've had quite a lot of experiences in your life that would lead you to either becoming an open-hearted person or a really closed person, huh? It's interesting to be here. Like, what is the condensed version of your story?
Condensed version. Well, basically, after I graduated high school, I joined the military. I think at that time in my life was probably the best choice for me. I think if I had went into college, I probably would have made it past the first year more than likely. Maybe, maybe not, but I don't think college was for me at the time. So did the military thing. Started off as a helicopter mechanic, and then applied for and got accepted into flight training school. So got to learn to fly helicopters and did that until I retired. And then luckily for me, I was able to get a job as a EMS helicopter pilot right after retirement. So still flying and being able to help people in their critical time of need as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. But yeah, flying is one of my passions. So at least I can keep doing it and help others. So like we talked about earlier, the whole kind-hearted thing, it's able to tap into that and make me feel better about my job. So
emergency transport then.
Yes, yeah.
Ooh.
Life flight.
I bet you've seen some stuff.
Yeah, I have. And actually, it was the base that I fly at. We're kind of unique because a lot of other bases are either with like a nurse medic or nurse, and we fly with a nurse and a hospital resident basically. So they're in their third year, about to graduate, and their specialty is normally in critical care, emergency, services at that point. So they get to fly along with us and and handle a lot of stuff. And one of the docs that we work with, he's a military guy. He's a great guy, and he had to perform a medical procedure in the aircraft before we even took off. That was basically a life-saving measure. So seeing him do all that right in front of me, it was, it's not like watching a TV drama, these medical shows. I mean, you saw it for real, and I was just amazed that his quick thinking, and his training kicked in, and the nurse was great too, helping him out and stuff. And I mean, ultimately, to save the patient's life. So that's all that really matters. But just seeing, his proficiency, his training and his education and everything else, it all just kind of came together. He was able to see what was going on, and they're equipped with the knowledge and training to handle those kind of situations. But those kind of situations are really few and far between. But when they do come up, it's just really interesting to watch them work.
Yeah. I barely missed needing to be transported by helicopter from Scotland, the island I'm on, to the mainland because of how early my twins were born. Like if they had been born days earlier, we would have had to have been taken to the other hospital.
Yeah.
But while we were there, we saw a tiny baby get put into it was like a glass hearse almost, or
Yeah.
and whatever, like with so many tubes and things that they put the baby in and carried it to be put into the helicopter.
Yeah. Yeah, we do some of those. It's called the Neonate Transport, basically, and there's specialized nurses for that job. And it's a unique flight because you just have to take some other things into consideration. So they can be very lengthy flights too, because once you get the crew to the hospital, it takes a while for them to assess the situation, and do what they got to do. So those aren't quick, pick them up and get them out of there fast. That's going to be a 4 or 5 hour transport normally. So
so in between these things, the the military service and helicopter pilot, you also managed to fit in a modeling and acting career as well.
Yeah, that's the juggling and organization part right there. Yeah, the acting came about basically, which I'm not really sure how it came about, to be honest with you. I get asked this a lot, and I really don't have a definite answer. So, but basically, just before I retired, I just had a idea come up in my head one day. I'm like, hey, acting sounds kind of cool. I actually was in a high school play back in the day, and not that I only did it just to get like the extra credit, basically, so that I could pass it with all my credits that I needed. But it was the play was called Anything Goes, which whoever knows about plays might be familiar with that one. And it was actually kind of fun. It was seeing, because they had everyone that was in the class go through the audition process. I had no intention of being one of the main characters with the line, so I was just an extra. Wherever they told me to go, I went. But you see how everything went from auditions to rehearsals to we actually did the performance I think a couple of times at the end as well. But just seeing how it all worked out was pretty incredible. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. And then here I am almost about to retire, and I get this idea. I'm like, that's okay. So I found a weekend acting workshop. I was in Tennessee at the time, so in Nashville, and I attended the workshop, and we did cold reads. I'm not sure you're familiar with what that is, but for those that aren't, basically you're given a script and you have to act it out without having ever seen it before. So you just kind of read the lines and just kind of act out the way that you feel. But luckily these were scenes from movies that we've all seen, so many times. So it was just kind of cool to play that character that you like, oh wow, yeah, that was a great movie, I get to play this guy now. So I think that's when the acting bug hit me, because it was liberating, it was exhilarating. You're with people that were like-minded, and they want to do the same thing. They want to act, they want, it's their passion, they want to bring a scene to life, a character to life, and there's no you become very vulnerable, and there's no one there to take advantage of it. They want to see you're vulnerable. So it's great to be with people like that. And so I was like, man, I got to pursue this farther. But of course I was about to retire, so I had to make sure that I found work and a place to live, because when you start acting, you don't get paid squat. So I moved, got established, found an agency that was doing a casting, or a general casting call just for representation. So I went to that and did an interview, and I think based on my background and my personality, they liked what they saw, so they offered me representation, and pretty much the rest is history. So
wow. I don't know about the ins and outs of the acting world, the movie TV acting world, but I know about acting. I was an actor for 12 years with a Christian theater company called Covenant Players. And I traveled on 3 different continents and 26 different countries, and performed in 3 languages. Well, yeah, English doesn't count because it's my mother tongue. So I performed in 4 languages. 3 of them were not my mother tongue: German, French, and Swedish.
Wow.
So I love acting, that feeling that of you put your thoughts back, and you put other thoughts forward, and you react in the moment, and it's how real it's getting paid to play pretend. I mean, we weren't paid because we were volunteers, but the thought of being paid sounds nice.
Right. Oh yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. And I think that's for some people, if you go into Google acting careers and whatever else, and listen to celebrity interviews and stuff, they can tell if you're in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reason. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to make those millions of dollars, and be an A-lister and a household name and stuff. But, that's like the top, 1% of actors, in the country, and everyone else is just struggling to get by,
I hope you enjoyed this first part of the conversation, and I hope you'll tune in tomorrow to watch the rest of the conversation if you want, or you can check out some other amazing conversations that I've had, or check out a vlog or whatever. Thanks for being here.